A new whistleblower has emerged to tell us officially what we already long suspected, that the Hunter Biden investigation may not be going so well. They're saying it is being mishandled. Some of us have been saying maybe it's being covered up, but they have a new whistleblower who is now out. IRS supervisor sent a letter into lawmakers. You see Hunter Biden there hanging out with the president. He just flew over there to Ireland. They say an IRS supervisor has told lawmakers that he has information that suggests the Biden administration is improperly handling the criminal investigation into old Hunty, which is not a surprise at all. We have the letter. I pulled it up. We'll take a look at it. But it says that a career Internal Revenue Service criminal supervisory special agent has information that would contradict sworn testimony by a senior political appointee, whoever that happens to be. The supervisor also has information about a failure to mitigate clear conflicts of interest in the ultimate disposition of the case. The supervisor has details that show, quote, preferential treatment and politics are improperly infecting decisions and protocols. You're kidding. A spokesman for the White House deferred to the Justice Department and the IRS. Spokeswoman for the Justice Department and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Delaware, which is leading the investigation, declined to comment, of course. They'll say it's an ongoing investigation. There's nothing we can talk about here. We'll defer you to everybody else. Hunter Biden facing a criminal investigation related to his taxes and whether he made false statements in connection with the gun purchase. When he said in December that his tax matters were under investigation, Hunter said that he was, quote, confident that a professional and objective review of these matters will demonstrate that I handled my affairs legally and appropriately. Investigators have believed for months they had enough evidence to indict the younger Mr. Biden. The Journal and other news outlets have reported. Prosecutors have also weighed whether Hunter's well-documented drug addiction would present a defense. So let's take a look at the letter. Sent April 19, 2023 from the law firm Nixon Peabody, drafted by Mark D. Little, the partner. This is going over to a bunch of people in Congress. Honorable Ron Wyden, Chairman, Committee on Finance, and the Whistleblower Protection Caucus out of the United States Senate. So we have a statement from him as well. What is he going to do? Also going to the Honorable Jason Smith, Mike Crapo, Committee on Finance, Richard Neal, Ways and Means, Durbin, Judiciary over in the Senate. So we've got Nadler's on the list, Jim Jordan's on the list, Graham's on the list, and Chuck Grassley. So all the senators here on the left, all the House on the right. This comes from a lawyer. His name is Mark Little. On behalf of his client, he says, Dear chairs and ranking members, I represent a career IRS criminal supervisory special agent who has been overseeing the ongoing and sensitive investigation of a high-profile, controversial subject since the early 2020 and would like to make protected whistleblower disclosures to Congress. He says, despite serious risks of retaliation, my client is offering to provide you with information necessary to exercise your constitutional oversight function and wishes to make the disclosures in a nonpartisan manner to the leadership of the relevant committees on both sides of the aisle. Says my client has already made legally protected disclosures internally at the IRS through counsel to the U.S. Treasury Inspector for Tax and the Department of Justice. The protected disclosures, number one, contradict sworn testimony to Congress by a senior political appointee. Wonder who that is. Contradict sworn testimony to Congress by a senior political appointee. Could that be somebody like Merrick Garland? Somebody in the IRS? Somebody in the Justice Department? Who would testify to Congress and be asked questions about this? And maybe about the U.S. attorney appointed to investigate Hunter. A political appointee, somebody in Joe Biden's cabinet? Two, these disclosures also involve failure to mitigate clear conflicts of interest in the ultimate disposition of the case, saying the people investigating this may not be leading to a just outcome. And three, this details examples of preferential treatment and politics improperly infecting decision and protocols that would normally be followed by career law enforcement professionals in similar circumstances if the subject were not politically connected, if his daddy wasn't the president. Says some of the protected disclosures contain information that is restricted by statute from unauthorized disclosure to protect taxpayers and tax return information. Says my client would like to share the same legally protected disclosures with Congress pursuant to U.S. law and the protections afforded to whistleblowers that he's already shared with other oversight authorities. And out of abundance of caution, information regarding the taxpayer privacy laws, my client has refrained from sharing certain information, even with me, in the course of seeking legal advice. Thus, it is challenging for me to make fully informed judgments about how best to proceed. Little caveat sentence there for this attorney. My goal is to ensure that my client can properly share his lawfully protected disclosures with congressional committees. Thus, I respectfully request your committees work with me to facilitate the sharing of this information with Congress legally and with fully informed advice of counsel. And so with the appropriate legal protections in the appropriate setting, I would be happy to meet with you and provide a more detailed proffer of the testimony my client could provide to Congress. Sincerely, Mark Little, partner. Copy to the Honorable Michael Horowitz and Russell George, Tax Administration, over at the U.S. Department of Treasury. So a juicy letter, and it sounds like this is already, people already know some of this information, but nobody's doing anything with it. My client has already disclosed this stuff internally, but nothing's going on with it. Nothing's happening. It's going to the OIG. It's going to the Inspector General, but we need to expand this. We want to make the same disclosures to Congress and shine that spotlight much more brightly on whatever is going on here. So a juicy letter. We always like to see juicy letters here. The statement from the chairman in the IRS Whistleblower Outreach Committee says, as with all matters before the committee, we will go where the facts lead, and we will conduct a review of this matter in an appropriate and timely way. The chairman, Jason Smith, issued the following statement after the letter was received. He said, we appreciate the outreach and we look forward to sitting down promptly with this individual to better understand the scope and the detail of the concerns that were raised. The committee takes seriously any allegations of misconduct by government officials or offices and will, on behalf of American taxpayers, like they care, look into concerns that are brought to our attention. It is the responsibility to ensure the tax code is applied fairly and appropriately to all Americans. Whether through the oversight efforts this committee initiates or the need for oversight that is brought to our attention, we're on it. From the first days of this new Congress, he says, I made clear that we will value the importance and the role of the whistleblowers in ensuring the integrity of our governing institutions, which is why we established an online portal providing IRS employees a direct avenue to providing information regarding any wrongdoing that we have witnessed. And we take seriously the importance of protecting whistleblowers in accordance with the law. As with all matters, we will go where facts lead and conduct a review of this matter in an appropriate and timely manner. Signed off on April 19th by the IRS. And look here, right at the top, IRS whistleblowers. Click here to contact the Ways and Means Committee about waste, fraud, and abuse, and send that stuff in if you've got it. So yes, any IRS whistleblowers out there in the house, definitely make sure that you're contacting the Ways and Means Committee. And that is juicy. The Justice Department investigation has unfolded against the backdrop of these other congressional inquiries. In March, Republican-led House Oversight Committee released a memo saying the family indirectly received money from a Chinese oil company. Republican lawmakers reached an agreement with the Treasury Department to access the SARS reports. The Wednesday letter from Mark Little, the lawyer from the IRS agent, said his clients want whistleblower protections. It was addressed to both Republicans and Democrats, and we'll see what they do with it. So that will be a lot of fun to dig into.